Hi, my name is Harriet Madeley. I'm the writer and performer of Outpatient at Park Theatre, and this is Here We Are.
Well, Harriet, thank you so much for joining us today.
Pleasure.
So let me ask you, what draws you to the theatre?
What draws me to the theatre? I think it's so precious to have something that brings a bunch of people into a room without their phones to just listen to a story and be transported into another world and be moved, like to walk in someone else's shoes. I just think it makes people into better people. And it's a really kind of ancient, rare place that people can come for joy and sort of meaningful action as well.
I think that's beautifully said. And what stories speak to you? When you go to the theatre, what makes you want to jump up and be like, oh, I'd love to be a part of that?
I really love stories that I'm drawn to comedy, but I'm also drawn to quite dark, deep stuff. So ideally, like something that merges the two, something that feels true to life and all of the tragedy and depth of real life, but also something that really makes you laugh and has interesting characters in it.
Well, I think there's a very fine line between laughing and crying, right?
For sure, yeah.
And sometimes the darkest things are the funniest things to us.
Absolutely, and I think in life, you know, like some of the most difficult experiences I've gone through have also been very funny. So, and I feel like I get excited when I see that on stage.
I agree with you. So speaking of darkly funny, Outpatient.
Yeah.
Where did this idea come from?
About 6 years ago, I was working on a project about death. I thought we should all get better at talking about death. So I was going around and interviewing people in palliative care wards about the fact that they were going to die, which was quite a badly thought out idea, I think, because people didn't really want to talk about that. And it wasn't going very well. And then during the interviews, I got diagnosed with this mysterious, kind of potentially deadly, life-limiting disease. So suddenly, having thought that like I was fine with the idea of death, I had to kind of face my own death, and it turns out I wasn't fine with it at all. I reacted very, very badly and did some very bizarre, strange things and went on a whole kind of journey with it. So that's where the inspiration, I guess, came from, that true story.
And what a way to also discover different depths of yourself, where you have this idea of your ego and your identity, and you find out this news and you're like,
Totally.
world crashing, right?
Yeah, it completely shook my sense of self. I think somewhere in me I thought I was kind of indestructible. And also I thought that I was a really, really good person. And then after this happened to me, I was not. Like about a year after this happened to me, when I reflected on how I sort of responded, I was, not so sure about that anymore.
Well, I can tell you just that you said that you're a great person.
Well, thanks.
You're welcome.
I'm a great person now, just for a while, you know.
But, 6 years later, like you said, this is your second run of the show after a sold-out performance at the Fringe,
Yeah.
That's massive. You've taken something so deeply personal and connected to you and transformed it into art in this beautiful story.
Thank you, well, it's been very meaningful to do an autobiographical show. I've never done one before. It's terrifying, but great. I'm glad I've done it.
And talking about like connecting to different audience members and having a world where we are supposed to be connected through Instagram and all these social media.
Yeah.
We feel so disconnected to the arts in so many ways.
Yeah.
What's your take on that right now?
Well, I think there's obviously a lot of wonderful things about social media, but I also think we're more isolated than we've ever been. It's like we're more connected, but also more isolated. And so again, I guess that's why I love theatre. It like feels like a return to an old way of being, like just real people in a room, kind of disconnected from their devices.
Yeah.
And so I think it's very important to kind of keep that alive. I don't think it's going anywhere, but it's part of.
I think people are craving more and more live experiences.
Yeah, exactly.
With the rise of technology, AI, everybody's like, I need to see something real.
Yeah. But it can also be scary, right? I think like when you just get used to kind of being with technology and being alone a lot, it can be quite daunting to kind of exist in that way. So I think it's important that we keep forcing ourselves to, in case our world becomes very odd.
100%. Now, talking about the theme of the show, getting into it, is there anything you love to do before the show, a pre-show ritual?
You know what, I do, like I do all the stuff. Like I go for a walk, I warm up, I do my lines, and then probably about 15 minutes before I go on, I just watch some really crap TV.
I
just completely zone out.
And what's the show of choice for this run?
At the moment, I'm watching I Kissed a Boy on BBC iPlayer.
Amazing.
Which is just delightful. I mean, it's not crap, but it's it's just an escapist. Put it that way.
I had an artist friend tell me as well. Every opening night, he'd see either the worst show on Broadway or the best show. Because if it's the best show, he's like, I need to jump up in there and be in there. If it's the worst show,
I don't need to worry. Yeah. That's a good one.
I think it's what inspires you.
Yeah.
Is there a song that you listen to get you into this character?
I listened to quite a lot of Chapel Rowan before the show in Edinburgh. Just, the character's very kind of, not full of herself sounds bad, but she's full of herself. She's kind of living her best life. She's walking down the street thinking everyone's looking at her. So it's good to listen to some like anthemic pop.
Yeah.
Before, I think, yeah.
Is there a favorite kind of snack you love having before or after the show? Candy, chocolate?
I am terrible with chocolate. I think I ate quite a lot of chocolate before the show yesterday and I regretted it. So I might start trying to be a bit better.
Do you have a favorite kind of chocolate?
I really like those kind of home-baked cookies that they sell in like the bakeries everywhere. But they're terrible. They're so bad. They made me feel so bad afterwards, but so good when I eat them.
It's very confusing emotions.
Very confusing.
And lastly, 24 hours in London. What is your perfect 24 hours?
Ooh, 24 hours in London. Well, I live in Southeast London, in Peckham. So I would probably start the day with like a walk on Peckham Rye, get some really nice coffee. I've got a 1-year-old, so take my daughter to like the swings or something. And then I might go to the river along the South Bank, go to the gallery or something, or I might go to East London. I don't know, go for lunch. And then probably end up at the theatre.